I'm here with my product video. I had said I was going to make a video of suggested products that I feel like were instrumental in helping me with my recovery. I did also make a video that I said was like tips and tricks. So some of the things I talk about in the tips and tricks, I'm also going to mention here. So bear with me if this is a little repetitive from time to time, but maybe you don't want to watch both. I want to make sure that you get the information that I want you to have in one or the other. So some very basic things that you're going to need when you come home from the hospital is you're going to want to have ibuprofen, obviously. So the doctor's going to give you pain meds, and you're going to take those when it gets unbearable, I guess is a good way to put it. But for the most part, he's also going to tell you to take that ibuprofen every 6 hours. So you want to make sure that you have ibuprofen on hand. My doctor gave me a prescription for it, but I'm not sure if that's typical protocol or not, but make sure you have some. Also, same thing with stool softener. I had a prescription for stool softener, but if by chance he does not give you one, you definitely want to have that on hand. Just some good old Colace. Another thing that I found very comforting was good old Tux pads, just like back when you had a baby, very similar to that. They just were very comforting to put down there with all of the stitches and the swelling and all of that. So the Tux medicated pads with the witch hazel was very helpful. Similar down there, I mentioned in my tips and tricks that I suggested getting a PERI bottle. So if you happen to have your PERI bottles from back when you had babies, great. I didn't. So I had my husband go out to the Dollar General store and have him buy like the 2-pack of ketchup and mustard bottles. They work exactly the same, and it was like $1 for both. So then I could have one in my upstairs bathroom, downstairs bathroom. So that was very helpful for the exact same reason as after having a baby. It's just, it's very uncomfortable to wipe down there. So like you can do a little bit of wiping and then use the PERI bottles to clean up a little more after that. And you just feel cleaner, and using that warm water is also soothing. So PERI bottle. I would also say it would be a good idea to have some good hemorrhoid cream around, at least for me, day 3 or 4 of my recovery. Despite trying to make sure that I kept my bowels soft and everything, I ended up with a very large and very painful hemorrhoid. I don't honestly know that any of those hemorrhoid creams work. I just really think it takes time for those to go away. But if a hemorrhoid cream with like lidocaine or cooling or whatever has been something that has helped you in the past, I would recommend that. Again, from the tips and tricks video, I would recommend having a tray table on hand for eating, so you don't have to get up off the couch or out of the bed or whatever. Make sure that you have a thin enough pillow that putting it between your legs isn't going to make your back hurt or anything like that, because as I said in the tips and tricks video, when sleeping at night, it was not comfortable to sleep on my back. I couldn't sleep on my stomach because of my suprapubic catheter, and laying on my side was the only thing that felt semi-comfortable, and having a pillow between my legs kept enough separation that it just felt more comfortable. It took the pressure off down there. So again, make sure that you have a pillow that you're comfortable putting between your legs. Heating pad. I said in the tips and tricks video, I don't know if it's a good idea to put it down there, but I did. I wadded mine up in half and like put it down there. Now, one caution would be you're not supposed to fold a heating pad. It says right on the label, like don't heat it or, fold it, you'll overheat it. I think I did ruin mine. It started to smell like really, really hot when it was turned on. So I think I wasn't using that appropriately, but it really did feel good down there. Like I have also always heard that heat, promotes healing, blood circulation. So I thought it seemed like a great idea. It also felt good to put on my stomach where, all of the organs that were removed from the hysterectomy were. I've said this in several videos, but I had a vaginal hysterectomy, so I didn't have any incision on my stomach. But there was still a lot of pain in there. There were some times where I would let my pain medication wear off that first few days and it would catch up with me, and it felt like a hot poker inside my pelvic cavity, like where the ovaries would be, where the uterus, you know, I kept my ovaries, but okay, so I guess it would be where the uterus was, where the fallopian tubes were, whatever. It was excruciating pain when I would let that pain medication wear off that first few days. So the heating pad felt good then. Tips and tricks video, I talk about having a bucket or a large pitcher to use with your suprapubic catheter for draining that first week or so. It's just very slow moving coming out of that catheter, and you might be standing there for several minutes, and when you're on a painkiller and you're tired and you still have anesthesia in your system, you feel really woozy, dizzy, nauseous. It was just much easier once I figured out this trick, which is why I'm hoping this channel can help you, to just sit on the toilet, put the bucket between my legs, or I just had a pitcher. It was like a pitcher for our tea maker, actually. I know, gross. And I would just unplug my suprapubic catheter as I sat there and let it drain. So make sure you have a big enough one of those around that you also don't mind throwing away if it totally grosses you out afterwards, that you could never drink anything out of it again. Okay, another one. So I'm gonna obviously put some pictures of things that I'm not really sure if you would know exactly what I was talking about on the screen. So you are going to want to have some comfortable granny panties if you are going to have the suprapubic catheter. So not only are you going to be using pads just like you would after you had a baby, because again, this was surprising to me. I don't know why, but you're going to bleed for a week to two. Probably was just more like one for me, but you're going to bleed vaginally just like after you've had a baby. It's not that heavy though. So you're going to want something comfortable for wearing pads, but also these underwear that I'm putting down here, they were just Hanes brand underwear. I believe I got them at Target. I'm sure you could find them at Amazon, Walmart, anywhere. But I feel like these were perfect for what I was trying to accomplish, which was I needed something high-waisted enough to tuck my suprapubic catheter tubing into, but that was not restrictive, because you'll figure out real quick that pulling on that tubing, pressure on that tubing, anything that wiggles it in the incision is just uncomfortable and feels ugh. So those underwear were perfect because they were not super compression, but they were just enough that I could just keep that catheter tubing tucked in, out of the way. It wasn't getting bumped all the time. My clothes weren't rubbing it. I think these underwear were pretty perfect. If you can find this exact same thing. They came like pretty much up to my belly button and they were perfect. And then after my surgery, I threw them away and never wanted to look at those ugly underwear again, but they were instrumental in my recovery. From the tips and tricks video, make sure that you have a bathrobe so that you can use the robe string. I mean, the robe might be helpful too, but you really just want the robe string. So if you have some other way to come up with something other than a robe string, just make sure you have something to tie around your waist when you take a shower to tuck your tubing up under so that it's not dangling in the shower. That is incredibly uncomfortable. Okay. Nightgowns or oversized dresses, highly recommend. You, for at least probably the first week, are not going to want anything other than those underwear that I just talked about, or maybe like a stretchy, really stretchy pair of capri or pants, depending what time of year you have your surgery, but something really stretchy and really comfortable as pants. You're not going to want to wear anything tight, compression, jeans, nothing like that. I will actually put a brand of capris and pants, like leggings. They're from Amazon. They are Satina brand, and they've always been my favorite brand of capris and leggings for probably the past 10 years. But again, I loved them even more after my surgery because they were just stretchy enough that they felt good. Like they gave enough compression that it kind of held that suprapubic catheter in place, which I liked because again, dangling, wiggling did not feel good. So when I actually started wearing any form of pants, shorts, capris, whatever, it was those. But the first few days, I definitely just wore a nightgown or an oversized sleep dress, something like that. Didn't want any clothes. I made myself like I just got a little caddy, and I made myself like a little snack and necessities caddy that we carried everywhere. So if I went upstairs to go to bed for a while, we took it. If I was sitting on the couch, it was there. And I filled it with high fiber snacks. So again, I'm going to put a picture in down here. These were some of the snacks I bought. I mean, I was also trying to buy snacks that were not high in carbs or high in sugar or fat, because I knew I was going to be sitting around for 2 weeks, or, you know, and really for 6 weeks couldn't do any activity. And I just wanted to watch my intake. I didn't want to gain 10, 15 pounds while going through this surgery recovery. So they are very healthy. Most of them are carb free or low carb. Some of them are even keto. They're low sugar, but they're all high fiber, which was very important for helping with the bowels and keeping everything soft to not irritate down there. I did still go ahead and get a hemorrhoid, which wasn't great, but I tried my best. So in this caddy, I would keep like, some gum, some mints, some hard candy, these snacks, some water bottles, lip gloss, chapstick, whatever it is that you use, my ibuprofen. It's where I kept all my medications. So it was just nice to be portable. That way I wasn't saying to my husband or to myself, oh, can you go down and get this? I need this up here. I need this down here. It was just portable. We took it everywhere with us. That really might be about it. There's not, like I said in my tips and tricks, if you can go buy yourself a cheap shower head with the spray nozzle, you know, that you can move it around, that's going to feel very good down there when you take a shower. The water feels good. The heat promotes healing and blood circulation down there. And then also I talked about when you take your packing out, if you have the vaginal packing, then that's going to help with the process of removing that. It just makes it feel better, and it's kind of like a distraction as you're pulling that out. So you can usually get those at Walmart for like $10. And even if you don't want to keep it like that forever, it might be good just during the surgery recovery process to have that detachable shower head. I think that's all I have for you. So again, I've said this in all my videos, but I just hope that you find this helpful. I know when I was preparing for my surgery, I searched high and low for videos like this, tips and tricks, and I just really couldn't find anything. I could find people who had had a hysterectomy who maybe had some tips, but nobody who had had hysterectomy, vaginal reconstruction, all of the prolapses repaired, like everything all at the same time. I also had what was called absent perineum from my first pregnancy and delivery. So basically, I came out of surgery and I wasn't expecting this, but it was pretty much like I had a 4th degree episiotomy again. I had been cut hole to hole and restitched back up on the inside and the outside. And so I had several inches worth of stitches down there, and it was just very painful. So yeah, it was a lot. And it still is like I swear I have PTSD from my experience, but these are some things that did help me get through it, some products and some tips and tricks. So feel free to email me at the email address below, leave comments if you need any additional information, and good luck.